joining you live and direct from Mother Earth. And I just wanted to share some information on this video based on some of the information that I shared in my last video about how our thoughts and emotions have a direct effect on our immunity, on our immune system and the body's ability to protect itself. In the last video I was looking for some of the information that I had been written to confirm this truth, to kind of bring forth the scientific explanation as to how our emotions, how our thoughts can trigger our immune system and cause us to bring in illness. So I'm just going to read some information that hopefully will help to bring some insight and understanding about what we can do as well, because information brings awareness. So once we know how our thoughts and emotions have an effect scientifically on our body, then we can now be aware of what's happening. And as I said, we're in the age of information, so every experience is encouraging us to learn more about what it means to be human and this human system that we are functioning in. Greetings to everybody that is joining me, sending you much love of the highest vibration. I'm just going to read some information about how the emotions and the thoughts can affect our immune system, and why it's important that we be conscious of how we receive information and how we utilize information for our own physical health and well-being. So I'm going to read a passage from a book called Theta Healing. Emotions and Health. Modern science is reaching an age of enlightenment. New avenues of thought are stirring, and the earlier perception of the separation of the mind and the body are falling away. The awareness that emotions, feelings, and the power of the thought have a direct bearing upon our physical health is becoming mainstream. The development of psychoneuroimmunology, which is based primarily upon the neuron sciences of the central nervous system, the neuroendocrine system, and the immune system, and their interrelationships. Okay, the central nervous system is a huge collection of connections throughout the body, incorporating sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. The nervous system allows the brain to send information throughout the body using chemicals generally referred to as information substances. It was once thought that the brain sent out these information substances to respond to the problems in the body, and that the communication was in a one-way direction. What has become clear is that the central nervous system controls the body's defense mechanisms. Okay, knowing this, we can comfortably assume that every thought, emotion, idea, or belief has a neurochemical consequence. And we've heard this a lot. We've heard about the fact that our thoughts create our reality. But this is what I wanted to hone in on this, because it talks directly about how our thoughts and emotions trigger the cells in our immune system and cause the body to basically go into a state of illness, of dis-ease. Okay, so the chemical messages of the body are called neuropeptides, which were at one time thought to be only found in the brain. Pioneering research by neuropharmacologist Candice Pert revealed that neuropeptides are present on both the cell walls of the brain and in the immune system. So these messages are in the brain and in the immune system. These information substances affect our emotions as well as our physiology. These cells of the body have their own receptors on their surface that act like satellite dishes, waiting to pick up those frequencies of stress or distress, right? So these receptors receive the chemical information substances being released by the brain, and sometimes return messages at the appropriate times. Candice Pert believes that peptides may provide solutions to every medical problem. As these complex messengers travel throughout the body, they provide vital information and sometimes almost instant physical feedback. So when you have a thought, it can instantly trigger a physical reaction, a physical response and feedback within your body. And an example that the author gives of this is, if you've ever been in a car accident, you may have found yourself shivering because of the release of adrenaline. But once the danger is over, you send the message to the body's receptors that all is fine and begin to calm down. So we are responsive to our thoughts and emotional stimuli, internally or externally. Okay? So this is a simple example of how fast the information can be transmitted from thought to physiology. We create emotions, and this requires input from the brain. The discovery by Candice Pert that neuropeptides and neurotransmitters are also on cell walls of the immune system shows a close association with emotions and suggests that emotions and health are deeply interdependent. Research has indicated that an inextricable chemical link exists between our emotions, which includes all the stresses in our lives, both good and bad, and the regulatory systems of the endocrine and endocrine systems throughout the central nervous system of the body. So basically, all of the stress, all of the things that we go through is communicated. The emotions that we feel are directly communicated to the endocrine system. And the endocrine systems and the immune systems are basically like the messaging centers of the body and the regulators of the body. So this emphasizes the importance of expressing our emotions both verbally and physically, because if we don't express our emotions, we don't express how we feel, they become suppressed and start to manifest as physical illness. I spoke yesterday about fibromyalgia and how it is a suppression of pain, and it's sent into the auric field, into the morphogenic field of the body. So when strong emotions generate fear, anger, or rage, and these are not expressed in a healthy way, okay, a healthy way, not fear and panic, but a healthy way, then the body's natural response is that of the sympathetic nervous system, as demonstrated in Walter B. Cannon's research on homeostasis and the fight or flight syndrome. So it's basically saying if we receive information and we take it in a way which is fearful, it doesn't allow us to now process the information. What happens is we start to go into fight or flight mode. We start to release hormones in the body that make us start to trigger this instantaneous reaction of survival. Fight and flight is based on the need to survive. It's a survival instinct. And so the body then reacts to the release of those hormones and starts to respond to that. So you develop illness, you develop anxiety, you develop stress. Okay? At this point, inappropriate storing of these stressful emotions produces an excess of epinephrine. Okay, the excess of epinephrine causes a chemical breakdown, resulting in internal weakening of the immune system and an increased potential for disease, because your immune system is your protection. So if your mind is communicating to all of the cells in your body that you have to be afraid of something, that something is happening that is out of your control, it sets off this chemical response of fight and flight, and now you are in survival mode. Once you're in survival mode, that's weakening your immune system and actually creating the potential for more dis-ease. So based on this information, we can safely say that thoughts, words, and emotions have an effect on the physical body. In fact, they're all intrinsically linked. So a thought is expressed in an electromagnetic brainwave that sends a message to the neuropeptides, which in turn is fired off into the central nervous system to produce the result from the human body. So the belief strong systems can be so strong that they now start to control the messages in the body and create that chemical reaction. So the key is to change the messages and how we respond to the information in order to strengthen ourselves, in order to prepare ourselves. And so the reason why I felt it important to read this information is because we hear a lot about our thoughts creating our reality. And a lot of the information right now is causing people to be very afraid. And just the fact that people are afraid, they go into fight or flight response, which means that they start to feel like they don't have a way of moving outside of what their current situation is, or actually just seeking the truth, finding the alternatives, the things that can help them. When you are in fight or flight mode, you panic. So you don't seek answers, you don't seek solutions, right? So I'm encouraging you all to just take a breath. For those people who feel like, this is a very stressful and traumatic situation, understand that the way that you take in this information is also going to compromise your immune system. So the first thing that you need to be doing is taking a breath, doing some meditation, just finding a way of grounding yourself, because you are not out of control, okay? Everything that's happening within our reality, we can take some level of control for. I have encouraged in my videos people in boosting your immune system. Your immune system is your protection. It's your body's defense mechanism. So when your immune system is strong, no illness can survive within your body. Okay, no illness can survive within your body once your immune system is strong. So you need to be taking things which naturally develop your immune system. Vitamin C it boosts your immune system, but you also need to be taking things like zinc and magnesium to help the body now absorb the vitamin C. Natural herbs like ginger. I've been chewing ginger root every day. The energy or the element of a virus or an illness is fire, right? And fire is purification, it's healing, it's burning, it's purging. So when you want to help to clear something from the body, a virus or an illness, you apply fire. So things like ginger is really good for the body because it heats the body and it tends to burn out any bacteria, any illness. Things like garlic. Garlic is a natural antibiotic. So what it does is it boosts the body's natural ability to produce the cells that will help it to defend itself. Our bodies ultimately know what it is that we need to do, but the main thing that we have to control is the mind, because the mind controls everything that takes place in the body, consciously or subconsciously. So we need to be really conscious about how we're taking in this information, and rather than go into a space of panic, which will also make you weaken your immune system, you're being encouraged to seek information and look towards healthy, holistic alternatives to support you in this time. You'll find a lot of people sharing tips and tools, and it is really about going back to basics. It's about understanding that nature has always been the way of being able to manage human life. You know, we've always been able to utilize nature and go back to nature because we are nature. We are everything that it takes to create the plants and the trees. We are that as well. So nature has that for us. But we're ultimately being called to take responsibility for our own health and well-being. We can no longer rely on hospitals and those systems to be responsible for our health and well-being. And we cannot wait until we break down before we start to think about how we can maintain our life, how we can maintain a good, healthy life. One of the things that I'm learning over the past couple of years is that you cannot live without health. And so health is true wealth. You cannot live without health. You cannot live without breath. You cannot experience whatever it is that you create without actually being here and being in a healthy body. So this is our focus and our priority. And it's not just health of the physical body. It's health of the mind, health of the emotions, health of the spirit. That's what we are being called to get into check right now. So I just wanted to share this information with people, just in the hope that providing also the scientific perspective will help people to understand that this is not about scaremongering people. It's about learning about how the body works in conjunction with the mind, body and spirit. It's about finding solutions so that you're not stuck in a space of survival instinct, where people are now buying up toilet paper and buying up all of the food because they don't understand what's happening. The nature of a virus it means that it cannot stay within the body. The nature of the virus is to shift the body from one state to another. Based on what you do and what you feed your body will determine what state your body gets shifted to. As we are shifting in our body, we're shifting in our mind state as well. So we're learning to understand more about how the body works. Only when something is broken do we seek to try and understand how to fix it. And that is, I suppose, the spiritual reason for dis-ease. It's for us to now start looking at what is not functioning, what we're not paying attention to, and learn what we can do now to make changes. So what's your thoughts? What's your mind? What's your emotions? Eat for light. I keep on telling people that your body needs light energy because your body is an electrical organism. It is an electrical organism. That's why you're able to go to the hospital and have x-rays and all of these kind of treatments that are based on sound light technology, sound light frequency. Every organ in your body has a frequency. It lets out a certain tone and vibration when it's operating at optimal health. So when you eat food that has light in it, food that has absorbed light like vegetables and fruits, pineapple is one of the things that I recommend the most at this time. It boosts your immune system. It helps with the lungs. Obviously, this virus is affecting the lungs. It helps with the lungs. It works with your pineal gland. It regulates your thymus gland. It strengthens your bones. This is why it was called the foods of the gods. So we have to start looking at nature and making our food be our medicine. When we're eating things like red meat, when we're eating a lot of heavy starch, the body has to take a lot of energy to consume and break down those foods. And so that energy now makes our body vibrate at a slower rate. Also, some of that food takes years to break down. So our body is constantly working from a space of lack. When we use our food as our medicine, we learn to find balance within the body. Right? So if Even incorporate green juices at this time with things like cucumber and spirulina and kale and spinach. You're giving your body light energy. You're giving your body the tools that it needs to be able to transform everything in your body into light of the highest vibration and promote health, wellness into your body. So as much as there is a lot of fear around this virus, it's also encouraging us to take more responsibility for our health and well-being, to be kinder and more concerning to each other, and to learn to exist harmoniously within our own body, as we are also living in the body of Mother Earth. So I just wanted to share that with people in the hope that this information will help you to make an informed decision and also to bring peace. There is a lot of hysteria and people are very frightened and scared, and fear only comes from not knowing. When you arm yourself with knowledge and you are able to make informed choices. So before you go into fight and flight response, just take a moment, get into your heart, take a deep breath, fill your body with new oxygen, allow your brain to receive oxygen so that you can move from that space of fear into that space of being in your heart so that you can receive the solution. Also, don't be afraid to do research. We have been through many of these threats, these illnesses on humanity, whether they have been, to this level or not. So learn to understand the nature of humanity, learn to understand the nature of these illnesses and how they affect people. But what I want to say to you is one of the biggest killers is misinformation, and one of the biggest killers is fear. So what we need to do is to try and ensure that the information that we're receiving is valid, and we've checked it and checked it again. And also try your best to move out of fear. Information, arming yourself with information will help you to reduce the fear. This is Amenti the Awakener sending you much love of the highest vibration, and hoping that this video is giving you some information and insight that can help you to find some peace. Because in these changing times, let nothing move you from your immovable peace, so that you can receive and know what it is to do. And when those around you are losing their heads, don't be afraid to share wisdom. Don't be afraid to be the peace. Sending you much love. Have a blessed day and stay healthy and stay well. Bye.